A serious aviation incident involving a Vietnam Airlines Boeing 7879 at Munich Airport has raised major questions about what happened during the aircraft's takeoff. Vietnam Airlines Flight VN34, operating from Munich to Hanoi, was carrying 271 people when the aircraft experienced an unusual problem during its departure on August 15th. According to preliminary information released after the incident, the aircraft's speed unexpectedly dropped twice during the takeoff roll. The Boeing 787 continued along the runway, eventually using almost the entire available distance before lifting off. The aircraft then returned safely to Munich after spending around 2 hours in the air, while the crew worked to reduce the aircraft's weight before landing. All passengers and crew were reported safe. But new details are now emerging about just how close the aircraft came to the end of the runway, and investigators are trying to determine exactly why. Flight VN34 was departing Munich Airport's runway 26L for its flight to Hanoi. During the takeoff roll, the aircraft reportedly experienced an unexpected change in acceleration. According to the crew's account provided to Vietnam's Civil Aviation Authority, the aircraft's acceleration briefly stopped around the middle of the takeoff run. Then, after reaching V1, the aircraft's speed reportedly decreased again. V1 is an extremely important speed during takeoff. Once an aircraft passes V1, pilots are generally committed to continuing the takeoff because there may not be enough runway remaining to safely stop. In this case, the unusual speed changes resulted in an exceptionally long takeoff roll. The aircraft reportedly used almost the entire runway before becoming airborne. According to preliminary information, the Boeing 787 lifted off with only around 300 feet of pavement remaining. That immediately turned the incident into a major aviation safety concern. As the aircraft reached the end of the runway, it reportedly went beyond the normal paved surface into the runway overrun area. The aircraft also suffered a tailstrike, meaning the rear underside of the aircraft came into contact with the ground. Eventually, Flight VN34 returned to Munich Airport. The landing itself created another difficult situation. Reports and photographs from the aftermath indicate that the aircraft suffered significant stress to its landing gear and tires. Several tires were damaged, with reports confirming that 4 tires on the left main landing gear were shredded during the landing. The aircraft was unable to continue taxiing normally and eventually came to a stop. Despite the dramatic circumstances, the most important outcome was that the passengers and crew survived without reported injuries. Passengers were subsequently taken care of while the aircraft was inspected. Now investigators are looking closely at physical evidence left behind at Munich Airport. Fresh runway footage reportedly shows long tire marks close to the end of the runway. According to the emerging information, continuous marks from the right main landing gear began approximately 210 meters before the runway end. Investigators are examining these marks to understand whether the aircraft experienced abnormal braking or another mechanical problem during the takeoff roll. This is particularly important because the aircraft's speed reportedly dropped twice. At this stage, investigators have not established a final cause. Possible explanations being examined include a mechanical issue, a problem involving the braking system, aircraft performance calculations, computer-related factors, or human error. The investigation will need to establish what actually happened before any conclusions can be reached. The incident also affected the 271 passengers who were originally scheduled to travel from Munich to Hanoi. Because the aircraft remained grounded, Vietnam Airlines had to arrange alternative travel and accommodation for affected passengers. The airline has also acknowledged the incident and kept the aircraft out of service while safety checks and repairs are carried out. For passengers, the incident ended safely, but the sequence of events has understandably attracted significant attention online. Videos showing the aircraft's departure and the aftermath have circulated widely, giving aviation enthusiasts and the public a closer look at the incident. So the latest picture is this. Vietnam Airlines Flight VN34, a Boeing 7879, flying from Munich to Hanoi, experienced an unusual and serious takeoff incident on August 15th. The aircraft reportedly experienced 2 unexpected speed reductions, used almost the full runway, and suffered a tailstrike before becoming airborne. The crew then kept the aircraft near Munich for roughly 2 hours to reduce its landing weight. The Boeing 787 eventually returned safely to Munich, although several tires were destroyed, and the aircraft suffered substantial structural damage. All 271 passengers and crew were reported safe. Germany's Aviation Accident Investigation Authorities are now leading the probe, with Vietnamese authorities assisting. Investigators are examining the aircraft flight data, physical evidence, and possible mechanical or operational causes. At this stage, no final cause has been established. As the investigation continues, the key question remains: what caused the Boeing 787 speed to drop twice during takeoff? The answer will depend on the evidence recovered from the aircraft and its flight recorders. Further findings are expected as the international investigation progresses.